Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Angel Storm. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am talking to you about narcissism and cults today. This is actually a more common thing than I think people may be aware of. So a lot of times we don't see that much about cults in our Western media. But these are certainly present and ongoing. And I want to speak a little bit about that today and about narcissism. I've talked in my most recent videos a little bit more about the presence of narcissism in society and why this is such a big deal and why this impacts us all, and the structures that are present in our societies that support narcissism and even rewards narcissistic traits, overt narcissistic traits, and encourages this to be present more, encourages more of this type of behavior. So first of all, when we talk about a cult, it centers around one leader. Even if there are multiple structures within the cult, those people are all supporting or propping up one person. And typically, the people who are willing to propagate the cult and its beliefs are other narcissists. The cult leader for sure is going to be a narcissist. Oftentimes, you'll find a lot of the same type of wording, no matter the root of the cult in the formation of the organization. So, for example, it doesn't actually matter who is leading or starting the cult. They'll often call themselves something like a grand master or the all-time supreme leader or some kind of thing like this. A lot of them will have titles that make them the head being, not just of the cult, but actually of the world or of the universe. And this is the number one thing, because the narcissist I've talked about before will actually tell you what they think. If you pay attention, the narcissist will actually reveal exactly what they think. In one of my previous videos I released, I talked about why you stay with a narcissist, the number one reason why you stay, and that's because people don't think it's actually possible for people to have beliefs that are so far outside of the bell curve norm of what thoughts are. So most people don't think that they are the supreme being or the all-time ultimate leader of all of this stuff, but there are people out there who think that. But because that is such a absurd title, it's such a grandiose title, most people will just dismiss that as not actually what they think. Okay, they might be saying that, but that's not actually what they believe. And that's really the first downfall, is not believing what you're seeing or what you're hearing. Thinking that that is too far outside of the norm for it to be real is the number one reason that gets people into this trauma bond that will ultimately keep them bound in the system of oppression, the system of abuse that they'll find themselves in. So cult leaders are thinking the same way about themselves. Why would somebody be drawn to this person? Well, typically they'll say that they have knowledge that other people don't have and other people might not even be able to get. Sometimes this is because God has told them that knowledge. Sometimes it's because they've had such a mystical experience that it's impossible for most people to ever have that within their lifetime. But it usually involves some sort of ethereal, out-of-body experience that can't be replicated. And therefore, you need to go to the source of the person who had this experience in order to get the information. It can't be gotten for yourself. You have to go through that person. Like they're the gatekeeper of this information or this knowledge. The information or knowledge that they have can absolutely impact your life and change your life and help you to, find your truest, highest self, or whatever their motto is, but you can't get the information without first going through that doorkeeper. So that's primarily the hook, if you will, on how people get set up and entangled into a cult. Lots of cults will target specific groups of people that they know are isolated. One of these groups being wealthy, well-known individuals. A lot of these people are extremely lonely. They don't have a lot of friends. They don't have a lot of people who relate to them. And they're dissatisfied with what they have done with life so far. They might be very successful financially in their business life, maybe even in their family lives, but there's something missing and they're on this quest. And so somebody comes along and says, if you donate to my organization, I'll teach you the ways that, how you can get this information, how you can get this knowledge, and you would be able to have happiness, the one thing that you can't seem to buy. This is an appeal for people who cannot seem to find their belonging anywhere else and who really want to kind of make this deeper connection. People are searching for truth, and when they find that they are not fulfilled in their life, they will go to extreme lengths to get the possibility of connecting with that truth. So cults know that they should target people who are lonely, who don't have a strong support system around them to tell them this isn't a healthy idea, this isn't a good idea, or this sounds not quite right to me. So number one, they absolutely have an end goal of financial supply, but also the narcissistic supply. Somebody who will constantly be looking to this person as their savior. And the people who are involved in the rest of the cult structure are able to also get supply through this because, well, I have access to the supreme leader. I have access to this person. If you do this, if you say this, if you give me this amount of money, I might be able to put in a word of favor with so-and-so so that you can have a private meeting or whatever. People also want to feel like they're making a difference in the world. And so a lot of cults will have the facade of something good. They're giving back to the community in some sort of way, typically around education or medical supplies or medical infrastructure. And people want to know that they aren't just filling themselves up with their own success. At some point, people are going to start looking to, what can I do to leave a mark on the world? What can I do to give back or leave a legacy here? And so a lot of the humanitarian stuff that you'll see lots of cults doing is usually at a price. It's not actually what they say they're doing. It's another method to draw people in to get that supply that they're looking for. Again, both financially and the narcissistic supply that the entire cult leadership is likely looking for, but certainly the supreme leader is looking for. Cult leaders typically are remarkable people. They have something that is unique to them. They are trendsetters. They are trailblazers. There's something about them and their vision that is worth following. It's not just a vision. It's that they typically do have a track record of being able to build something useful, sustainable, and remarkable. It's something that's one of a kind. And so there is, again, some truth to the propagation of information that the cult would be putting out into a community. I have a video where I talk about narcissist lies, and a lot of people think about lying as a total not truth. You know, there's truth and then there's lies. But the narcissist knows that the way to lie effectively is to include truth and just mix in some lies. That way, when you come back and say, hey, you said, this and this and this, and they can say, no, I said this, you filled in the blanks. I told you the truth. That part of the truth, I did say that. So you're the one who's not remembering correctly. This helps form the trauma bond. And it also gives the narcissist a great cover, a really good out to being held accountable. And it also really does start to get you thinking, oh, did I remember that wrong? Or did they actually say that? And you do start to rely more on the narcissist for your memory, to kind of tell you what actually happened and what was right or what was wrong. So the narcissist is really in full control of your reality. So the cult leader will know this. The cult leader knows the best way is to put in a little bit of truth. Is this person actually a remarkable person? Probably. Are they the supreme leader? No. So there's a lot of misinformation that goes along with the advertising process and with the kind of process of like gathering people in. Once you are involved with a cult, it's difficult to get out for a bunch of reasons, right? Because they're good at using straight out threats and intimidation to get you to stay. But also there's more subtle things. This is the only family that you've ever known. Who will you spend Christmas with this year? There's more emotional ways and ties that they can get you to continue to stay even after you know that this is not what they told you it would be. And even if you wanted to leave, they make it blatantly obvious that you don't have any place else to go. So again, they just use fear and intimidation to keep people where they are. Whether that or not that's actually true, it really doesn't matter. In the day and age of technology that we live in, a lot of cults will result and will end up in some sort of harassment or cyber stalking activity to show that they do have control over you. They're not bluffing in this area, that they can access your emails, or they can destroy or disrupt your banking activities, or they can disrupt your business activities online. Whatever it may be, they will try to flex their power, and in some cases they actually do have the manpower and the technology, the tools to be able to do this. So this is a very dangerous thing that can be happening to somebody when trying to leave the cult, or even after they've gotten out of the cult. They can suffer repercussions from this organization for years. And due to the way that laws are structured right now, it's very difficult to pinpoint who is doing what. So even if you have suspicions, or even if you know in your heart it's the cult, I know that it's this organization, I know it's this person, without proof, you can't, there's little that can be done in today's world of how our laws are written at the current moment. And so there's also the fear of retaliation for going to the authorities or trying to press charges and being unsuccessful. And so a lot of people will just feel like the pressure to conform and to continue to go along with the cult simply because the method of making them stop the harassment isn't available through the legal system at the moment, or it is very difficult to prove, and it could take years, to do so. And so some people really do feel the pressure of that, and they would rather stay with the cult, or at least not have the cult upset at them, so that they can get out from underneath the harassment that's going on through the internet. One of the things I talk about a lot on this channel is the importance of self-care and knowing who you are and your identity. And part of that is to know your values, your dreams, your goals in life. All of that kind of stuff is important, because if you are able to identify who you are, you will not compromise on those things. Those things would be non-negotiable for you. That no matter how great of a person that they seem, if they're willing to trespass into your values and try to get you to rethink your morals or your goals in life or things like that, they aren't your people. These are not the people that you want to be connected with. And again, a cult knows that they need to target people who are in this transition period of their life where they've done quite a bit of stuff, and they might even have some success, and they might even have 99% of their life figured out, but there's that 1% that they're still searching for, and they will use that 1% weak point. And when people are focusing a lot on that weak place, they will compromise on what they're willing to tolerate, what's normal behavior, what isn't normal behavior, the boundaries that they've established for their lives, just in general with dealing with people. Like, I just simply won't deal with people who treat me a certain type of way. I just don't care. I don't care about what position you have. I'm just not dealing with you anymore. And people will compromise in these areas because they're focused on getting or obtaining this 1% of their life that they think is missing, that they want filled, and they're even willing to compromise who they are to get that space filled up. So cults are definitely aware of this, and it's important that you're aware of it, that this weak place could lead to the eventual settling into a place, into a group of people, or with a person that has nothing but intent to take from you. And they don't have a limit, and they don't care what it costs you. They don't care about the ultimate end goal or the way that it will ultimately leave you. They don't care about that at all. And so it's very important that people know themselves, that people are very connected to who they are and what they want out of life and their purpose in life, what they're here to do. And if it doesn't line up with those things, it's important that people love themselves and respect themselves enough to walk away before it ever gets to this point. You know, there's a lot of other things that go into the way that we think, the way that we make choices and decisions and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm well aware that, you know, you could be brought up by two narcissists. You could be raised in a home where all you ever experience is narcissistic abuse. So therefore, being treated this way would be very normal. This would be your norm. Nonetheless, it is still important that you know that there are that there are predators out there who are worse than the parents that raised you, or worse than the environment that you grew up in, or the experiences you've had with narcissists so far. It could be worse. And there's a lot of people in society who've experienced not just prolonged narcissistic abuse, but systemic narcissistic abuse, meaning this was in every single system that they came into contact with during their lifetime. And if we aren't aware of who we are, if we're never taught about, you know, how to explore ourselves, who we are, and our lives in a healthy way, the unhealthy option is always available. There's plenty of people who will offer you that. And so the point of me doing this video is absolutely to talk about cults and the narcissistic culture that exists within cults, but it's also to help you understand why it's so important that you start making yourself a priority, that you make yourself a priority so that you can therefore help your children if you're a mom or a dad, or your friends, or whoever you come into contact with, your siblings. It doesn't matter. There's going to be people who are looking for something, and if they can't find the answer that's readily available in their immediate, points of contact, they will start searching outside of that circle and outside of that circle. And again, there's plenty of unhealthy ways available to try to that will say that they will fill this hole that cannot be filled that way. By the way, everything that you are looking for is already inside of you. There's nothing on the outside of you that would make you happy. There's things that can add to the quality of your life, but the things that are ultimately that you need, that you're searching for, when you feel like this thing is missing from you, it's something that you just haven't discovered for yourself inside of you yet. And so this is oftentimes, again, the danger of looking for, how can I fill this piece that's missing, and thinking that it's outside of you when it's already with you. So I hope that this video does help you understand how cults work, why people would be drawn to cults, the narcissistic culture that exists within cults, and also why self-care, knowing yourself, is so important. It's one of the pillars of my coaching. Know thyself. You need to know who you are, your strong points and your weak points, the values that you hold for yourself, your life goals, and your purpose. These things all direct you. They are the pillars of your life. They're also the boundaries of your life. They help you keep moving in the right direction towards the place where you ultimately want to be. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel below and turn on the little bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video to this channel.